Hello and welcome to the second of my Shardathon vlogs. It's actually now Wednesday, so I haven't updated you on my reading for a while. And sorry again, I left you on a cliffhanger in the last vlog. I was reading The Wicker King by Kay Akram and I did finish this on Sunday. So I mentioned in the last video what this story is about, but I'm going to go ahead and re-explain that in case you didn't see that vlog, but I will link it up here for you in case you do want to watch it. This is a story about August and Jack, and it's told from August's perspective as his best friend Jack struggles with his mental health. So Jack starts to experience hallucinations and they gradually get worse as the story progresses, which is why the book starts off with white pages, and as the mental health deteriorates, the pages turn darker. And that's all I'll say about the plot. Now, I enjoyed this, but the writing style is very different. The chapters are very short, and it actually took me a little while to figure out that this is all told from August's perspective. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I think if I had known that from the beginning, I would have spent the first portion of the story being slightly less confused and therefore might have enjoyed that section more. Now, the reason it was difficult to tell at first was because August is quite an empathetic and observant person, and also he knows Jack incredibly well. They've been best friends forever, and so he has a really strong insight into what Jack might be thinking or feeling, and so it wasn't quite clear to me straight away whether or not we were hearing Jack's perspective or if it was just August interpreting that for us. Like I said, I did enjoy this one. What I do want to say though is that there are tons of triggers in here that you should be aware of if you're interested in picking this up. So just off the top of my head, and of course do your own research as well, but there is mental illness, including the hallucinations and depression. There's abandonment, absentee parents, there's trauma and PTSD, and codependence and unhealthy relationships. So it's quite a dark story, and I mentioned in my Instagram live that had I known how dark the mental health rep in this was going to be, I might not have read it at the time that I did read it, because I was already struggling with my own mental health at that point. Not massively, but this definitely impacted on my mood because I am also an empathetic person and I do very much take on the mood of the things that I'm reading. So this was just a little bit somber for the mood that I was in at the time I was reading it, but I do still think that it was a really good story, very easy to read once I got into it, and I was very invested in the relationship between August and Jack, and I was very invested in their recovery from the things that they were going through. So I do recommend it. Just take care of yourself if you decide to pick it up. Then I'm also continuing with my read of Words of Radiance. I was on page 598 at the end of the last vlog, and I am now on page 904. So I've read just over 300 pages since then. So I'm very nearly done with this. We're about to hit the Sanderson avalanche, so it probably won't be long before I finish this. I suspect I'll finish it in this week's vlog. It works out as 8 hours left of the audiobook, and I listen at 2 times speed, so 4 hours of the audiobook left, and I listen quite often. I listen when I'm on my way to work, I listen whilst I'm cooking dinner, I listen while I'm doing things around the house, that kind of thing. So it's not going to be a stretch for me to finish that this week. And alongside this, I have also started Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton, which is kind of a little bit of a cheat book. If you've seen my TBR, which I will link up above for you, you will know that technically I don't need to read this book because I'm using it for the prompt of eat a snack while reading. So I didn't really need to have a specific book for that, but I wanted to read this, so I put it on the list. And after I finished The Wicked King, I was struggling to decide what to pick up next. And so I asked you to help me in the Instagram live show, and this is what we decided together. So I started this on Monday. I'm only on page 74 so far. Again, I'm just really tired from work, so I'm struggling to read physically at the moment. I am actually going to get in touch with my GP because I think that my vitamin levels might be off again because of my Crohn's disease. That does tend to happen, and when that happens, my fatigue generally gets a lot worse. So I'm going to try and get like a blood test or something so that I can get that sorted. But for now I'm reading this, and this follows a character named Fortuna Sworn who is searching for her brother who went missing 2 years ago. And as part of her search, she comes into contact with a fae. In this way, it's kind of urban fantasy. So in this version of our world, the fallen angels created lots of different species, and fae are one of them. Fortuna is another. I'm not going to say what species she is because you don't actually find out for about 50 pages or so. So, I mean, it's not really a spoiler because this is a 300-page book, but I don't want to say. And so she comes into contact with a fae who says he can help her find her brother, but there's a price for his help. I'm not going to tell you what the price is either, but I hadn't realised that this is kind of fantasy romance and also a little bit sort of suspense thriller. According to the author, I posted a picture of this on Instagram and she informed me that it might be a little bit scary, which I didn't realise, but then she clarified, not necessarily scary, but more like suspense thriller. So I haven't really got into that section yet. I'm only 75 pages in, as I mentioned, but it's not especially long either. It is only 297 pages. I should definitely finish this within this reading vlog, and then after I finish this I will probably pick up On the Come Up by Angie Thomas because I don't have very long left on the audio for this through my library, so this kind of needs to be the next read, but I'm going to finish this one first, of course, and so far I am enjoying it. I think that this is self-pub as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't find a publisher listed on the publication page, so I think it's self-pub. And that's going to be it for this update. It's already very long, but I had a lot to catch you up on, and I will update you again once I've actually finished Fortuna Sworn, so it might be a few days before you see me again, but it will be a few seconds for you. It is now Saturday and I have quite a few reading updates for you. So I have finished Words of Radiance now. So I started the week on page 598, and this book is 1080 pages, so I've read about 480-ish pages of that one, and I did read The 11th Metal last night with my sister. I will probably read it again before I do the live show for it at the end of the month, because I want to go through it and kind of make some notes as I'm reading it, but it's only 18 pages, so it doesn't take very long, and my sister wanted to read it while she's here because she doesn't have a copy. I'm still reading Fortuna Sworn. I'm on page 174 of this one, and it's 297 pages, so just over 100 pages of that one left. And I've also started On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This one I'm on page 266 of 435. So I'll be finishing this one today. My plan is to also finish this today, so hopefully I'll be able to give you proper thoughts on both of those before the end of this vlog. I'm not going to talk about this one in this vlog because I'm going to be doing a whole live show. Well, not a whole live show about just this. I do like a Shardathon wrap-up live show, but I'll be talking about the group book in that, so I'm not going to talk about it for now. And really, there's nothing to say. I love the Stormlight Archive. I just feel really comforted when I'm reading them. I really enjoy this one. Shalon grows on me every time I read this book, and that's where I'm at with Shardathon. So after these, I have only 2 books left on my Shardathon TBR, which are Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Cinderella is Dead. So I'm going to focus on finishing these for this weekend, and then those 2 can spill over into my Shardathon vlog 3, because this is 2, I think. I have no conception of time, but that's where we're at, so I will update you again later, hopefully. I have finished reading On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Today is Sunday, and I enjoyed this one. I didn't like it as much as The Hate U Give. I definitely enjoyed the plot of The Hate U Give more. This deals with similar themes, and it's also set in Garden Heights, which is the same place that The Hate U Give is set. This follows Bree, who dreams of being a rapper, and so she's sort of following that dream but also dealing with the racism that she experiences at school and the prejudice she faces within that industry because she's a woman, and also dealing with the fact that her family are poor and sometimes don't have access to heat or light or food or what have you. So it's definitely impactful in similar ways to The Hate U Give, but the overall storyline of Bree dealing with the rap industry wasn't as interesting to me as the plot in The Hate U Give, and that's just because I'm not really a part of that music scene. It's never really been my thing, so it just wasn't as interesting to me, but I still really enjoyed this book and I still think it was really important, and it dealt with some really fantastic themes, and I'm very glad I read it. Also, the audio narration was tip-top once again. I think the narrator is the same as for The Hate U Give, pretty sure, and it was very, very good. So that's that one. I am also still working my way through Fortuna Sworn. I'm on page 231 now, so I have 67-ish pages left. Honestly, this one's losing me a little bit. It's kind of a competition trope, but it's actually more of a trial, which isn't as much my thing. And although I think that the characters and the world are very well done, the plot is just a little bit slow and uninteresting to me, unfortunately. I was expecting slightly more steam from what others have said about this one, and I'm not getting that. And I was expecting slightly more intrigue, and I feel like I'm not really getting that either. I think what it is that the plot is trying to do too many things and not quite achieving any of them. So I have to say I'm struggling to push myself through the last sort of 100 pages of this book because I'm losing interest and it's not holding my attention really at all, because I feel like the stakes aren't really there. The character feels like the stakes are there, but I don't feel like the stakes are there, if that makes sense. So I'm not enjoying this one as much as I really wanted to, but I will finish it because I've only got 70 pages left. I'm not going to DNF a book with 70 pages to go, much less for a readathon. So I will finish this today, but I'm also just thinking about what I'm going to read next, because on my TBR after Fortuna Sworn I only have Cinderella is Dead and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes left. So I am nearly there with Shardathon, but I also have some other books that I want to read this month from my TBR jar that I have audiobooks for through my library, and one of them is going to expire in 3 days, so I might read that one next before I then move on to Cinderella is Dead and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But it is Sunday, so I want to get this video up for you today, but I might just try and finish Fortuna Sworn so that I can do a final update on this one for you in this vlog, rather than leave you on another cliffhanger, especially because I don't think my thoughts on this are going to change unless something really epic happens in the last 70 pages, but I feel like from my experience with the book so far, I don't see that happening. So I would like to finish that and do a final wrap up on it for you in this video, which means that this will probably go up in the evening rather than the afternoon, which is fine. Okay, I'm going to keep this clip pretty short. I have finished Fortuna Sworn. My opinions haven't really changed. I felt like it was a little bit repetitive in the plot and not as complex as I was hoping for, and I'm not sure that I will continue with the series, but I'm glad that I gave it a go at least. So in this vlog I finished The Wicked King, I finished Words of Radiance, and I read On the Come Up, Fortuna Sworn and The 11th Metal. So a pretty good reading week, even though I felt like it was a really slow reading week. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it and wrapping it up, that is quite a few books, so that's pretty good. And I just have 2 books left for Shardathon, so I don't know if I'm going to read those in the coming week, because like I mentioned, I need to read Raw first because I'm going to run out of time on that audiobook. But for now, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye!